What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bucco Territory, presented to you by the Foul Territory Network. I'm Noah Hiles. Joining me, as always, are my co-hosts, Josh Harrison, a.k.a. Hiles and Platinum Key, a.k.a. Mark. We're recording this on Tuesday. I'm live here from Bradenton. Mark and Josh, I'm sure you guys were like me on Monday evening. We were tuned in, locked in, to Team USA versus Mexico. And that's how we'll start the show today. It's a mailbag episode. And we got a couple of questions that were submitted on X. Thanks to everyone who always submits those. But before we get into those, just want to talk about the World Baseball Classic. Guys, first things first, thoughts on Paul Skenes. He goes 4 innings, allows 1 hit, 1 walk, no runs, 7 strikeouts, over 60 pitches. Pretty good.
On a national stage, you love to see it. I mean, if you're a Pirates fan, we've seen this. We know. It was so cool getting to watch the entire United States be like, this is my ace. He's shoving. He's the best pitcher in the world. This is an awesome feeling. And it was just electric seeing that. So just what else can you say besides he's the best pitcher in the world? He's so good. He can bring Kevin Durant out of Twitter jail. He can go viral with looking at Bobby Witt Jr. with just a smile. Yeah, he's awesome. He's going to win another Cy Young, and I can't wait. What do you think, Josh?
Oh, yeah, he was dominating. Fastball at the top of the zone was tearing him up. But I noticed, I think the first 3 pitches of the game, I think he went split changeup. And I said, oh, they got no shot. Because, I mean, how do you make you got to make a split decision between, that's a 10-mile-an-hour difference just between his changeup and his fastball. And I think his split was like 94.
Yep.
And then I think he had so many just right above the top of the zone that you could just tell guys thought that they were on, that it was doors by you. Really good outing by him. Definitely encouraged to see how he builds off of that head into the season. But, for that to be his, spring training start, that's very encouraging. That's Paul being Paul.
And I think that was probably, sorry, really quick. Do you think that was the biggest stage for him yet that he's pitched on? So I think handling that pressure was really encouraging to see. I mean, he looked better than he usually does, even almost. So handling that pressure and doing that was great. What were you going to say, Noah?
Yeah, I was just going to say, having covered him, every time he's pitching at an iconic ballpark or against a team in first place or a team with an Ohtani, with a Lindor or a Soto or somebody, like that's when you get the best of Paul Skenes. Very rarely. There's honestly just one venue where he does not bring his A game, and that's Miller Park or American Family Field, whatever it's called now, in Milwaukee. Aside from that, like when he's in Dodger Stadium, when he's at Shea Stadium, Yankee Stadium, when he's going against the Dodgers, when he's going against the Mariners or whatever great team, the Blue Jays, whoever you throw out there, like he rises to the occasion. And I expected him to be great. I mean, the full arsenal was on display, like Josh said. I mean, in the beginning, the way he made Alejandro Kirk try to climb the ladder on that strikeout was brutal to watch. And I mean, the splinker was splinkering. I mean, all of it was really good. And honestly, what it reminded me of is when, like in Sidney Crosby's earlier career, when it was like, wow, like the captain of the premier hockey country plays in the town that I live in. And that's he's not the captain. Aaron Judge is the captain of this team. And Aaron Judge had a hell of a ball game last night as well, from the home run with the great throw, the third. But Paul Skenes, there's something about an ace. There's something about a guy, because in baseball, kind of like what we saw in the Olympics with a goalie, when you have a hot pitcher, it can turn the game upside down. And the offense for Team USA did not really have it going. They had one big inning and it was enough. But Paul Skenes did not let that lineup find a rhythm until he was in the dugout, with his workday over. And I think that probably would have persisted for as long as they would have let him go. It just goes to show that like how dangerous this team can be if it gets to the playoffs, because you get that for probably double the amount of length, right? You're probably giving him 120 pitches at least twice a series, if not 3 times, depending on how it lines up. Those are ball games that are easier to win than they are to lose when you have a pitcher like that. So another thing that happened in that game that I wanted to ask Josh about, we can count this as our first mailbag question. It's from Noah. Hey, at JHay5 or what? Hey, JHayDemand5 or whatever your Twitter handle is.
JHay_demand.
There we go. Yes. In the very beginning of the game, we saw Randy Arozarena dig in, try to shake Cal Raleigh's hand. They're obviously teammates on the Seattle Mariners. They've been teammates too for 2 seasons now, and Cal Raleigh gave him the brush offs, and no, not going to shake your hand. We saw this happen earlier in the tournament between someone. Forget the catcher was from Australia. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And those, I don't think those guys are like familiar with each other. I think it was just like a sign of sportsmanship. Where these guys have a little bit more familiarity, and it certainly rubbed one of them the wrong way. Randy Arozarena talked to some reporters after the game and had some colorful language. The Mariners have tried to kind of, dull this down a little bit. Cal Raleigh even said, when we're back in Seattle, he's my brother, but right now I'm playing for Team USA. Josh, as a player, I want to get your thoughts. I mean, how would this have gone, say, if you're playing in the World Baseball Classic and Russell Martin's behind the dish and you reached out to shake his hand and he brushed you off, or Francisco Cervelli for Italy? What would your reaction been?
I wish Russ or Servey would have cold shouldered me. They wouldn't have finished the game. Nah, just playing. But I honestly don't think that's in Russ or Servey's mentality. Granted, I think Randy has every right to be upset. If you don't know somebody, like you can kind of, okay, like I get between the lines. Right. I don't know you from a can of paint. You don't owe me that. But at the same time, it goes back to just simple what I teach my kids, golden rule. Somebody acknowledge you, acknowledge them back. And it wasn't like Cal had to sit there and shake his hand, but he could have given him a head nod. You don't have to shake his hand, but man, you share the locker room with this dude. Y'all battle together trying to play in the playoffs. It could have been a mind trick too that Cal was trying to play. Obviously, Randy's teammates are going to feed off of it too. Randy's coming in the dugout. Everybody saw it. So I don't know if it's a mind thing, but mind thing or not, if one of my teammates that's supposed to be my brother did that to me, even if we on the opposite team, I'm hot, and I think Randy had every, as I said, right to be mad. And if that was me, I would have been mad too, especially somebody that I share a uniform with. I get it, you playing for your country, but no, brotherhood goes further than that, because at the end of the day, y'all don't share the same blood, but when y'all put on the same uniform, so likewise, even if y'all go separate ways, you still acknowledge the man. You ain't got to give him a hug. It's USA versus Mexico, but you could have just gave him, hey, we ain't gonna shake hands, but I'll give you a little tap on the leg. You ain't got to make eye contact, but to do that, I thought that was kind of foul. And right is right, wrong is wrong, and I think if you know somebody and y'all got relationship like that, I don't think you do that. But could have been him playing a mind game, but I still don't agree with it.
Yeah, I agree.
The one parallel I saw, really quick, was Pau Gasol and Kobe Bryant back in the Olympics. But I think that was a scenario where Kobe told him before.
Neither one of them are Pau and Kobe.
Right, exactly, yeah. And those guys were legitimately brothers.
Neither one of them have been told they got a Mamba mentality, Kobe
right.
mentality.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So you can save me with that.
It was also in the gold medal game.
Yeah, true.
That was also for an Olympic gold medal, not the pool play.
This is pool play. Yeah, and not. It doesn't matter. A game is a game. Yes, one shouldn't be more important, but that's just me. I'm with Randy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention, Mark, is just, like that. There have been people who compare those two together. But yeah, Cal Raleigh, from everyone that I know who's interacted with him, who's played with him, is supposedly a really nice guy. Like that's
like the polar opposite of Kobe Bryant. Yeah.
They said that he's just your typical friendly, happy-go-lucky guy that everyone in the clubhouse loves. Randy Arozarena, I've heard nothing but good things about him too. He seems to wear his heart on his sleeve a little bit more, perhaps, and has a little bit more of an emotional side to him. But it seems like both of these guys are well liked in that clubhouse.
Right.
And that's probably why it rubbed Randy the wrong way. It's like, dude, you're the nice guy. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
I agree with you, Josh. Just a leg just tap him with your glove. It's the first at bat of the game. If it's bottom of the ninth and you're doing that, I'm like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. But it's the first inning of a pool play game. Both of you have already advanced to the next round. I understand that USA really wanted to win that one. I understand that Paul Skenes is on the mound and it's high intensity, but it's the second at bat of the game, dude. Just acknowledge it, because you have to have the wherewithal
in a week and a half.
understand.
In a week and a half, y'all are together.
Right back to it.
And you have to understand that people are going to see this because of what had already happened in the tournament between two guys that no one knows their names.
You're right.
Everyone who watches baseball knows who these two players are. And yeah, that could have been a nothing if Cal would have just moved his wrist 2 inches. But whatever.
Right. And I don't want to get into it. I don't know if it's a rule that maybe Team USA said, hey, we ain't shaking hands with nobody on the other side. But at the end of the day, like, that's still a tough spot. Hey, you can't tell me not to say what's up to my brother. Like, you know what I mean? Hey, good luck, brother. But hey, we here to whoop y'all. You know,
right?
Like, hey, I'll acknowledge you across the way because hey, we have shared some moments that you've probably seen me at my worst and seen me at my best. So who am I to sit here, regardless of, hey, I'm with these dudes, but hey, I'm still gonna acknowledge my brother. That's just me. Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're riding the same plane home. You gotta keep it pretty cool. All right, so let's get into the mailbag questions. We got a couple. Mark, start us off. What do we got here?
First here, hold on. Let me get rid of this. First, hold on. Let's check in with a word from our sponsor real quick.
Oh, yes.
We love HelloFresh. Shout out to them and over 100 recipes to choose from each week to provide variety. They're the spice of life. They don't make it boring for you when you're preparing food. Also, there's 3 times the seafood for no upcharge. AJ, they wanted you to know that you can impress your guests or your family with new grass-fed steak ribeyes. And you can make meals with seasonal produce like pears, apples, and asparagus.
Well, listen, Scott, I'm trying to stay in my playing/fighting shape. So I need the seafood, I need the protein, and I need the veggies. And plus, I want to look cool when people come over and say, wow, you made all this stuff. And I'll be like, easy peasy.
A new slogan, HelloFresh, making AJ look good. So go to HelloFresh.com/FT10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free Zwilling knife, a $144.99 value on your 3rd box. Offer valid while supplies last. Free meals applied as discount on first box, new subscribers only, varies by plan. Because when dinner tastes this good, nothing hits like home cooking.
All right, first question, Mark, what do we got?
All right, this one comes from PB, or Mr. PB Body. And this one's for Josh. So, Josh, what's the dynamic like when one of your boys on the team gets traded? Relative to Skenes and Jared Jones seemingly being really close with Kyle Nicolas, is it always all business, or does it stir anything up inside the locker room?
PP, that's a good question. And everything is going to be subjective based off of the direction the team is going, the feel of the clubhouse. But for the most part, everybody understands business is business. So you don't dwell too much on it. But, that doesn't change the fact that, those relationships and stuff that you've built might not continue to go on. Because, I'm here to say that there's a lot of guys that I've played with that, may have gotten traded or, signed elsewhere in the offseason. Sometimes those relationships don't fade. Guys that you're cool with, you're still going to be, watching, highlights and seeing them across the way. You're going to be texting, hey, what's up, bro? We play y'all. It's just one of those things where, like, hey, my brother was sharing the same uniform as me. Now he's on another side. I wish him the best. But, if we facing each other, I got to get you. But that don't mean that we can't break bread after the game and, still wish each other well.
Having covered a couple of trade deadlines, it is always interesting to see, guys say their goodbyes, right? Like I was in the clubhouse when, someone like in my younger days, I remember when Tyler Glasnow got traded and seeing you guys react to that when it was happening. Mm-hmm. And there was excitement about the return for Tyler Glasnow, right? People were excited for Arch, but you kind of have to hold that in until the guy who's leaving is no longer around. And then vice versa. Right. Last deadline, last couple deadlines, I was in the room when Martin Perez was traded in Houston in the 24 deadline. And then in 2025, I saw Caleb Ferguson saying goodbye to his teammates in San Francisco. I saw Brian Hayes saying goodbye to his teammates in San Francisco on the same day. That broke Mark's heart. And it's really interesting to see it from both sides. Like, that Archer trade obviously was one of the more aggressive moves the Pirates have made in recent history. And then seeing it as sellers, like Josh said, the context of it really matters, what direction they're going in. It feels like you're prepared one way or the other. But to see dudes who, like Glasnow, who's a prospect, say goodbye to the guys who he came up to the system with, or people that were kind of his mentors, And then as Ke'Bryan was one of the first guys up in this regime. Yeah. So for him to say goodbye to guys who, arrived after him was interesting to document and just observe.
All right. And then for our next question here comes from Jordan Flamio. I know it's spring training. Need to take everything with a grain of salt. But should we be concerned about Henry Davis? Still hasn't recorded a hit, even with his new batting stance. And Jordan so badly wants to see him succeed.
I'll start here. I think it's just we're at a point where Henry Davis is who Henry Davis is. I mean, he's just not a reliable offensive hitter. And until he is, and the moment he shows that he can actually be league average at the plate, then I'll change that narrative. But at the end of the day, he's still their best option. He's still going to have the highest WAR out of the four candidates that they have to be their catcher, because he does one thing really, really well, and that's the defensive side of the game. And when you're a team that's built to win through its pitching staff, you sacrifice a little bit of offense to have the guy behind the dish that gets the best out of Paul Skenes, Bubba Chandler, Mitch Keller, Braxton Ashcraft, and so on and so forth. So it is unfortunate. It's kind of ironic, again, that this was a 1-1 pick who was drafted strictly because of what he could do at the plate. And now, if he hits over 200, there are some people who will call that a win. So, it is concerning, I guess, because it's just not getting better. But at the same time, A, it is spring training. B, this is kind of what it is at this point. But again, we're recording this on March 10th, and for him to not have one single hit in spring training, it's certainly not like the best thing to see.
Yeah, right. I'm sure it's not fun for him. So I concerning, yes and no, because as you said, spring training doesn't matter. But I know for a game that's based off of confidence, yes, you want to see a base hit. And I'm not talking as a fan, I'm talking as a player. You don't care if it comes with the ball being 2 inches above your knuckle and the bat exploding and it being a dribbler. You just want to touch the base to be like, okay, this is what it feels like. Spring training is supposed to be for all of that, but he's also trying a new stance. You can try a new stance in the offseason in the cage all you want, but nothing's like being in a game and actual picking up vantage point and getting rhythm and timing. So there's still 2 weeks left. Hopefully something clicks for him. But as you said, it hasn't really done anything in the years past. But if something clicks for him, that's a bonus for him. But these stats don't matter. But I think anybody would still like to see something, know. And I'm sure him more than anybody. So, that's one of those things where I said he's making an adjustment with his stance. Hopefully something clicks for him soon. But if anything, just find some infield, outfield grass that allows him to say, okay, this is what it feels like. Sometimes you just need to get the monkey off your back. Mm-hmm. You're not playing every day in spring training too. That's the other thing.
Yeah. It seems like such a long time ago that Henry was trying to start in right field because they wanted to get him major league at-bats. And
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're like, okay, can he bat in the majors? But he's perfectly fine with his defense, because he brings enough value to this team with the way he manages games, like Noah was saying. Even if he doesn't hit 150, I still think he'll bring a positive value to this team. So anything that he brings to the plate after that is just whipped like a cherry on top, I guess is the phrase I'm looking for. So
yeah, I think the big problem, and we can round it up here, is right now the Pirates have 4 guys who are probably all number 2 catchers.
Yeah.
If Henry Davis can just be a league average hitter or even something close to league average, you're fine.
Totally good.
If he can hit 210 with 10 home runs, you're fine batting that 9th because of what he can provide defensively. But Mark, when you said if he hits 170 again, that's at a point it's how is your offense that bad where it's taking away
that bad, right?
From
is
your
defense that good to where
are you hurting? How many guys are you leaving on base? How many double plays are you hitting?
Are you throwing out as many as you're leaving on base? Or
or does it get to a point where it's yes, just because you're the best of the bunch doesn't mean that this position's still not nearly good enough as a whole.
Right.
I do think there's no scenario where he's not the best of. He's not a top 2 out of these 4. But I don't think he's a deserving 1 right now. I think he's a 1 by default.
Yeah, we don't want to go back to Austin Hedges or something like that.
Well, he is Austin Hedges.
Yeah, at this
That's
point,
what he
right?
is right now. Yeah.
With more upside, but yeah.
Yes.
All right. And
Final question.
Third and final question. I'm not sold on Dennis Santana as closer, and I'm concerned about him closing out games this year. Who else in the pen could take on that role if Santana fails or gets injured?
I mean, I think Gregory Soto's the obvious answer, right? That's why they paid him.
Yep.
I mean, he's got experience, all-star. Been an all-star in that role before. And Noah, that was my first thought. I don't really know if there's anybody else that you would really feel comfortable really saying to put in that role, but at the same time, we know how this game is with the rules of the bullpen. You got to face 3 batters. Things happen. Sometimes guys get thrusted in a role in a situation based off of the situation of the game where this might be our 7th inning guy, but, 8th and 9th inning guy are down due to back-to-back days, and we get to the 9th inning and we, up 1, we got to go to what our 7th inning guy may be. But off rip, Gregory Soto would be my next answer. I don't know if there's anybody else that I would really put at the same tier that would be like, okay, this guy or Gregory. If Santana was the falling issue, I'm going Soto.
Mark, I know who you're thinking. Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, Isaac Mattson.
Yeah.
Yep. I think Mattson still needs a little bit more experience, I'd say. But if the off-speed stuff that he's been working on continues to develop and you can pair that with that just insane fastball, it could look like he could look like a closer. So yeah, I could see that. I think he's probably like your 7th inning guy right now. Mattson is, with your 8th being Soto. Maybe they have like Santana come in the 8th a couple times and have Soto close it out if it's like a better matchup for lefty righty.
Lefties in the night, right?
Yeah. So I could see that happening a little bit, but I'm rolling with Dennis Santana. I really think he's figured things out and is comfortable with the Pirates, and I think he's going to be a great closer this year.
Yeah, I'll throw one more name out there. And this is going to have to be a change that probably takes place mid-season, but depending on how the rotation structure is mid-season, Braxton Ashcraft is a guy I'd love to see back there. He's going to be a starter now, but he's obviously, like we've said on this show, he's had tons of injury history.
Right.
I don't know if he's going to ever be a guy that you can depend on being a starter from opening day through the end of September. And if they have to move him back there, rather than putting him in that long role, which they already have one really good guy in that role with Carmen Majinski, if in this scenario of which the question came from is if Dennis Santana's down, I mean, I think option 1 would be you trade to get more bullpen depth. Right. And 2 is Ashcraft late in game would be really good. We saw that actually a little bit last year before he was in the starting rotation. They put him in some high leverage spots, and he looked really good against some solid teams too. Houston Astros being one of them, I remember, in the rain. But yeah, that would be someone. I mean, Jared Jones, same thing. But I think Jared's probably a bullet you'd like to spend more on in the rotation.
Absolutely.
Where Ashcraft, like I don't know what Ashcraft's future looks like because of that arm health. I think this year will tell us a lot. If he can get through this whole year in the starting rotation, then he's a starter. But if he's still this tween, back and forth thing, I would give him some really high leverage opportunities and sit him down at the end of the year and saying like, hey man, you could keep going back and forth, or you can just take this and this can be your meal ticket and you could be very, very, very good at this.
Lean into it.
And I think that
he could very well be like a wild card basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I look at it. And they have other guys who can do that too.
Yeah,
I mean, like if Bubba's inconsistent, like I know they want Bubba to be a starter long term, but like there's so many live arms in this organization.
Antoine Kelly could be a guy that whatever their starting rotation molds into. And it could look a lot different depending on who stays healthy, depending on who's stretched out.
Right.
But there's going to be an odd man out whenever Barco's back, or whenever Barco's up for good, whenever Jared Jones is back, and these young guys knocking on the door keep getting closer. There's going to be an opportunity for a guy who has major league number 3 starter stuff to just get 1 or 2 innings at the end of games, and that will be something to consider, even if Santana's healthy.
Right.
All right, guys. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Just make sure everyone, if you're listening, hit that like button, subscribe. Appreciate it. We're almost to 3,000. Not almost, but we're getting there. We're pretty close. Yeah. And then also the merch store. It's wide open. You can join Noah's uncle supporting us. We appreciate it. There's some really good stuff there. It's high quality. Going to last a while. And so we appreciate that if you check that out. Links in the description below.
Josh, any final thoughts?
No, go subscribe. And looking forward to, pool play is over. And see, it's I think they mentioned it last night on the broadcast. It's game 7s from here on out. So we'll see even more intensity from all the teams that are in it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, he's Platinum Key, a.k.a. Mark. He's Josh Harrison, a.k.a. Jay. I'm Noah Hiles, a.k.a. the guy telling you thank you for tuning in to another episode of Bucco Territory presented to you by the Foul Territory Network.